когда натовцам надоест с нами воевать, это у них тоже спросите. Мы готовы к продолжению этой борьбы. И победа будет за нами.
This is my video update on this Saturday afternoon, October the 19th, coming to you from Limassol, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news, and let's talk about North Korea. North Korea's proxy war against Ukraine, or at least that is what Elensky and Budanov are telling us is going on. North Korea is the real power behind Russia. Not China, not Iran, not India. It was North Korea all along. And according to a Ukraine think tank, a think tank that is associated with the ministry, the Ukraine Ministry of Information, so you know this is factual. They actually have video evidence. They claim they have video footage of North Korean troops in eastern Russia preparing to be sent to the front lines in Ukraine. Now, I have seen this video footage, and it's a bunch of soldiers somewhere getting ready to go somewhere. I don't know. It's a bunch of soldiers somewhere in the world getting ready to do something and go somewhere. That's all I can tell you from this video footage. But it is coming from the Ukraine Ministry of Information, or at least it's coming from a think tank associated with the Ukraine Ministry of Information. So you know this is fact, right? You know this is fact. And Budanov, he said, the android AI robot known as Budanov, he said that North Korea is planning to send 11,000 soldiers to Ukraine, and 2,600 of those soldiers are going to be sent to Kursk in order to save Russia from Elensky's successful Kursk incursion. North Korea is going to save Russia from Ukraine's invasion into Kursk. North Korea, man. It was North Korea all along that was the power behind Russia. Yeah, Keir Starmer, he said that if all of this North Korea stuff is to be believed, if this is really what's going on and North Korea is sending soldiers to Ukraine and is going to save the day in Kursk, Keir Starmer said that this means that Russia is desperate, man. That is what Starmer said. It shows Russia's desperation. And I believe either the French defense minister or foreign minister, he also said the same thing when he was asked about North Korea's involvement in the conflict in Ukraine, alleged involvement in the conflict in Ukraine. He said that this is evidence that Russia is losing. It's getting desperate, man. It's having to call in North Korea to save it. So that's the narrative that the collective West, that Ukraine is going to go with, right? This is the narrative. It was North Korea all along. We lost because of North Korea. We had Russia right where we wanted them, and then Kim Jong-un came in and saved Russia. Kicked out the Ukraine military from Kursk. North Korea had to go to Kursk. The North Korean army had to travel to Kursk in order to save Russia from the Ukraine invaders, according to Budanov. Anyway, that's the news on North Korea. And Putin, he's preparing for the big BRICS Kazan summit. And he had a press conference yesterday, and Putin said some very interesting things at this press conference. This is the first time we're hearing Putin talk, to give his comments after Elensky's speech to EU officials in Brussels, where he demanded that Ukraine either get nukes or enter NATO. or at least that is what Elensky says he told Trump. Either Ukraine gets into NATO or give us nuclear weapons. And now we are getting Putin's first comments on what Elensky said. What is this? Didn't expect to find a church here. I don't want to disturb them, but wow, interesting find. So what was I saying? Yeah, Putin was speaking to the media. I believe the BRICS conference is on the 23rd. But there's a whole bunch of events taking place right now in preparation of the big BRICS summit. By the way, Modi, I believe, confirmed his attendance. He's going to be in Kazan. But what did Putin say? What was he asked? He really talked up BRICS. Obviously, he talked up the BRICS summit. Very important for Russia. Very important for Putin and his administration, that this is a successful summit. And I have a feeling that once the BRICS summit wraps up, Putin's gonna put a lot more of his focus on the special military operation and what's happening in Ukraine. Right now, for Putin, it's clear that the BRICS summit is super important. And he did talk up BRICS, absolutely. I think he said that 30 countries, he said, are applying to enter BRICS. He said that BRICS has so many resources and products to offer to the world that without BRICS, the world can't really function. He talked about payment systems and settling transactions within BRICS. And yeah, he was just talking up BRICS. So he was asked by the media at this event about everything that Elensky said with regards to nuclear weapons. And Putin said that there is no way that Russia will allow Ukraine to get nuclear weapons. He said it will not happen. Let me read you Putin's quote, exactly what he said, because what he said was very, very interesting. All right, here we go. Putin said, when asked about what Zelensky said. He said, "This is another provocation. This is a dangerous provocation. Obviously, any step in this direction will be met with an appropriate reaction. Ukraine's political leadership has repeatedly expressed a desire for nuclear weapons, even before the crisis turned hot." And then he said, "I can say this, Russia will not allow such a thing under any circumstances." He also said that making nuclear weapons in this day and age is not that difficult. Putin added, however, that he does not know if Ukraine is capable of achieving this, and that acquiring a nuclear arsenal would not be that simple for Ukraine in its current state. Asked whether another country, such as the UK, could secretly provide Ukraine with atomic weapons, Putin said that it would be impossible to hide and that Moscow is capable of tracking down any movement in this direction. So I believe when Putin says that when Putin says that making these types of weapons is not difficult, but getting an arsenal is very difficult, I think he's talking about a dirty bomb. He's basically saying that that Ukraine probably has the ability to create a dirty bomb, but to create an arsenal is something much more difficult. So I think that's what he means when at first he said it's not that difficult, and then he said to get an arsenal is difficult. So that was an interesting statement. And he mentions that Ukraine has been trying to get nuclear weapons, or has been talking about nuclear weapons even before the special military operation. This is true. This is absolutely true. We know that one of the reasons the special military operation started was because of Ukraine constantly saying that they're going to acquire nukes, or they want nukes. So he said that as well. That was an interesting comment. And then he got the question, I thought this was interesting, which I haven't heard anyone talk about, which is that a reporter asked about the UK providing Ukraine with atomic weapons. And Putin said that this would be impossible to hide, and that Russia is capable of tracking down any movement in this direction. Why UK? Why did a reporter specifically say UK secretly providing Ukraine with atomic weapons, such as the UK secretly providing Ukraine with atomic weapons? Why the UK? Why not the US? Why not France? Why not some other country? I don't know. Why focus in on the UK? Is something going on here? I don't know. But I just find it interesting that the reporter, the question that Putin got, focused on the UK secretly providing nuclear weapons, nuclear technology to Ukraine. Could secretly provide nuclear technology to Ukraine, to be more accurate. I wonder if this question was planted, was scripted, because maybe Russia knows something. Maybe Russian intel got wind of something, and they're trying to send a message to the UK. I don't know. That's just a hunch. But I thought it was interesting that they talk about the possibility that the UK could be secretly providing nuclear weapons or technology to Ukraine. Very interesting comment. So what else did Putin say? He was asked about when he believes the conflict in Ukraine is going to end, and he said he can't give a timeline. He said that. He was asked by a Saudi journalist if Saudi Arabia would host peace talks if and when there comes a time for peace, for ceasefire negotiations. Would Saudi Arabia be considered? And he said yes. And he was also asked about the China-Brazil peace roadmap. It's not really a peace plan, it's more of a roadmap, and he said that he supports the China-Brazil roadmap. And he was also, you see, Putin, when he was talking about the conflict in Ukraine, he was the statesman. He was everything that Elensky was not in Brussels. He was talking about how Russia's open for negotiations. He was talking about getting to some sort of a peace. He was talking about Saudi Arabia hosting a peace summit, if and when it comes to that. And Zelensky was talking about getting a nuclear weapon. you see how Russia, how Putin, they have capitalized on Elensky's bonehead remarks about NATO or nukes. And Russia has positioned itself ahead of the BRICS summit as the country that is ready and has always been ready and willing to negotiate and to find a diplomatic solution while Ukraine is constantly talking about getting nukes. Elensky really screwed up with his statements the other day. He really screwed up. And all the countries that are going to be attending the BRICS summit, they're horrified at what Elensky said, and they're listening to Putin, and they're saying Russia was right all along, and Russia continues to be ready for negotiations. And Putin even praised the China-Brazil peace roadmap. Russia was right. The US, the collective West, was wrong. That's what all the countries are going to be saying in the global South, and especially the countries that are going to be attending the BRICS summit. So he was asked about the US and NATO, and how they're constantly starting intrigues. And Putin commented and said that the US pulls its allies into these conflicts, into these intrigues, like little dogs on a leash. That's a direct quote. That's what Putin said, like little dogs on a leash, when he was asked about the US and NATO and all of the troubles that they caused by journalists. So that was an interesting comment, a funny comment. Like little dogs on a leash. And he also commented on the ICC, on the criminal court, and he said the criminal court is useless. He said many countries of the world do not recognize the ICC. He said it has no universal significance and it's very easy to circumvent. Quote, decisions of this kind are very easy to circumvent, like a piece of cake, he said. They're easy to circumvent like a piece of cake. So that was Putin's press conference. Let's now turn to more fallout from Elensky's press conference and statements that he made in Brussels. NATO or nukes, his NATO or nukes statement. And we have more collective West officials rejecting his NATO for nukes. And Lloyd Austin from the Pentagon. He was asked about Zelensky's comments. He was asked about long-range missiles to Ukraine. And Lloyd Austin said, no chance. He said, no chance. Lloyd Austin, you could tell Lloyd Austin is getting sick and tired of being asked about long-range missiles to Ukraine. He's getting real sick and tired of this question. He said to the media, he said, look, Ukraine can just use their drones. That's what Lloyd Austin said. He said they can use their drones. He said the drones are cheap. They can travel a long distance. He said they're effective. This is what Lloyd Austin said. He said they're effective, they're cheap, they can travel a long distance, and Ukraine doesn't need to ask for permission. So stop asking me about long-range missiles. It's not going to happen. And Ukraine can use drones. So that was the statement from Lloyd Austin. Biden in Berlin, ready to board Air Force One to go back to the United States. Biden was asked by a reporter about long-range missiles to Ukraine, and he said, nope, he hasn't changed his mind. Ukraine is not going to be getting long-range missiles. At first, Biden said maybe. He was about to say maybe there's a possibility, we'll consider it, but then he said, I don't change my mind, I rarely change my mind, something like that, and basically he said that long-range missiles to Ukraine is not going to happen. That's what Biden said. And Donald Tusk of Poland, he was asked about Elensky's comments about entering NATO, and Tusk said no. Tusk said it's not going to happen, at least not until after the elections in the United States. He said, first we have to have the elections in the United States, and then we can talk about it. But Tusk said at the moment, there's no consensus in NATO to let Ukraine in. So that's what Tusk said. And finally, the pirate Schultz. He was asked about Ukraine entering NATO, and he was also asked about long-range missiles, Taurus long-range missiles going to the Elensky regime, and Pirate Schultz said no to Taurus missiles going to the Elensky regime, and he also said that Germany does not support Ukraine entering NATO. He said there's no consensus for NATO membership. So Austin, Biden, Tusk, Schultz, they all rejected Elensky's victory plan and the speech that he gave yesterday, and his threat that either Ukraine gets nukes or enters NATO. They rejected all of it. St. Catherine's Catholic Church. So not looking good for the man in the green t-shirt. Biden in Berlin. He was on his farewell tour. Now he's heading back to the United States. Biden, but he was on his farewell tour in Germany. Very quick trip. 18 hours, I believe, he was in Germany. Landed in Germany, met with Schultz, with the pirates, one-on-one. And after the one-on-one meeting, Biden, Schultz, Macron, and Stammer, they had a meeting. And top of the agenda was Project Ukraine and the Middle East. And we don't have any details as to what they discussed. They're keeping everything very quiet, very hush-hush. Not many details to go on as to what the European Quad, that's what they're calling it, the European Quad, as to what they talked about. All we know is the one statement that they made is that they're all unified on supporting Ukraine and finding a resolution in the Middle East. That's the statement we got. The fact that they didn't give a press conference, the fact that there were no details given about what these leaders talked about is indicative of the fact that Ukraine is not going well. Project Ukraine is failing big time. That's why there were no statements, there was no press conference, no comments, nothing. It means that these were probably very, very difficult discussions that took place, and very bad news about Project Ukraine. That's why they didn't speak to the media. So Macron, he put out a post on X, a photo of all four of them hanging out, the European Quad, together forever. And Macron said, faced with crisis, the world needs unity. Today in Berlin, with Chancellor Schultz, President Biden, and Prime Minister Stammer, we discussed the situation in Ukraine and the Middle East. That's the statement of what we got. That's it. That's all we know is basically what Macron is posting on X. Together, unified. Myself and Stammer and the pirate and Bidenopolis. We talked about Ukraine and the Middle East. That's all we know. That is all we know about this farewell tour European Quad meeting. Not good news for Elensky. Not good news at all. And Elensky didn't crash the party. They didn't let Elensky crash the party. He was in Brussels. He was in Brussels, a few hours away from Berlin, right? Hey, buddy. And he didn't show up in Berlin, at least not that we know of. So that was Biden in Berlin, and he was only there for 18 hours. He had the meetings, and then he took off. But before he left, he spoke to the media. He answered the question about long-range missiles. And then he also was asked about Israel and when and if Israel's going to strike Iran. And Biden, he said, when he was asked about when and if Israel's going to strike Iran and what they're going to hit, he said yes and yes, implying that he knows when Israel's going to strike Iran and how and what they're going to hit in Iran, what they're going to go after. He said yes and yes. So according to Biden, he knows when everything's going to go down in the Middle East. And I imagine that Biden probably forgot everything he was told. That's my guess. He was probably told what's going to happen, and I'm sure he's forgotten everything. He probably has no clue what Israel's going to do. Yes and yes was his response. So let's do a clown world, and we'll stay in Germany. We'll stay with Biden. And Biden in Berlin, one of the main reasons for his trip to Germany on his farewell tour was for him to be awarded the highest honor in all of Germany, the Grand Cross of the Order of Merit Award. That is what he received from German President Steinmeier. The Grand Cross of the Order of Merit, the highest honor that Germany can give to someone. And they gave it to Biden. Man, Biden. This is my clown world. This is clown world, 100%. Biden. Deindustrialized Germany with Project Ukraine, German economy, decades and decades of building the German economy, and it's all just disappeared. It's all just crumbling because of Project Ukraine. And then we have the whole Nord Stream thing. Not that I'm saying Biden had anything to do with Nord Stream. I'm not saying that at all. But it's, it's there. It's there. He was giving a press conference with Olaf Scholz right before the special military operation in D.C., and Biden did make that statement that if Russia invades Ukraine, then he's going to make sure that Nord Stream is no more. And he did say that, but I'm not saying that he had anything to do with Nord Stream. That was according to the Wall Street Journal and the BBC. That was Zaluzhny, the mastermind, and Gilligan and Marianne and 5 scuba divers and one doctor, one female doctor or something like that. They're the ones that blew up Nord Stream. But according to media in Denmark, they're saying that the U.S. Navy was hanging around when Nord Stream went kaboom. But Germany, the German economy, decades and decades of building up the powerful German economy, and Biden comes along and it all goes up in smoke, all of it. And Germany's resources from Russia, the cheap resources and energy from Russia that they were getting, no more. Nord Stream blown up, and Biden gets the highest honor that Germany can give someone. Biden is an evil genius, everybody. I think we got Biden all wrong. He is an evil genius, right? I'm starting to think that Biden, when he became president, he said, how do I get the Order of Merit award? How do I get the Order of Merit award? I could help out Germany. I could be nice to Germany. I can help them. But nah. I'm not going to get the Order of Merit award by being nice and helping them out. I know what I'll do. I'll start Project Ukraine. I'll get Germany to get on board with Project Ukraine, demolish the German economy, take care of Nord Stream, and then travel to Berlin and get to the Order of Merit award. Oh, man. Embarrassing, man. Embarrassing for Germany. Embarrassing for Germany, yeah. Oh, boy. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. That's the clown world. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop. Pick up some merch. The link is in the description box down below. October 20 to get 20% off all merchandise on the Duran shop. Take care.